before you read this?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, because that's the first thing on the agenda.
All right.
We can read through that, or I can read through that.
Jamie, is anyone else from your
Yeah.
team coming?
Yeah.
Wait, what's
Okay.
what's,
All right,
Can you-
give
we
us
can
a
call to
chance to
order and then
read.
read.
just, I mean, okay.
Well, the first thing I would like to do is make a motion to add an agenda item, a second item of new business, the application for the fence replacement at Orchard Street, which we will review after 41 Main Street.
It's a new application.
It's a new application, but it's just for a fence replacement, so we can review it. It's a non-compliant fence that needs to be brought into compliance.
I will second it.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
So what's the address again? This is before 41.
No, we'll review it after.
I know.
9
but
Orchard.
What is it?
It's 9
9
Orchard.
Nine
Orchard.
Orchard.
So, just for the sake of going through this in a efficient manner, what's different from
Well,
the last iteration
so
of this?
this is the information that you looked at with,
Yeah.
this is when you went with Catherine, this,
Yeah, our
Catherine,
site
this is
visit.
talking about the depth of the corner board that's going to be added to
Right there.
before we swap
Mhm.
the grain. This is relating to the parapet itself and a dispute of the height in the drawings that were
Okay.
given to us to
Got it.
review.
Are we talking about these drawings?
Yes. And that, where's the whole file?
Yeah, and, don't we also have?
That's the whole application.
Okay, so these are all copies of the same.
Yeah, there should just be 5 copies of the same.
I just so I'm reading this correctly. Cause I didn't see the order in the email, so this was, this was the last time I saw it.
Yeah, so this is what it looks
She
like.
took that, and then this happened, she noticed this today. I'm just trying to sort out the order of things.
Yep.
Okay, so this is the condition she was talking about in today's email.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wanna get the chair.
All right, come on down,
Alrighty.
let's talk. Okay.
Okay,
Have
so-
a seat, have a seat.
Hi,
Can I sit here?
Yeah,
yeah.
Actually, let me just grab this. Okay.
Okay. So there's two things that we need to discuss. One is the position of the, okay, so the incorrect siding material was applied to the building. It
Right.
was the,
that, yeah, that we under,
right,
I thought that was pretty much resolved. The only issue was where that corner board was gonna go.
that's what I was going to say. So
Yeah.
that's issue one that we need to discuss, and then
Right.
issue two is based on the height of the existing conditions of the building as they compare to the drawing that we reviewed last week, or last time we met. So, let's do the siding aspect of it first.
Okay.
We're a little further along with that. And Andrea was at that site visit.
Yes.
Do you have a copy of all this now? These are for later.
Where's my thing?
Okay, so this was the, Kathleen's email.
Yeah, which the applicant was copied on.
Yeah.
Sorry, have you met Al yet? Al
No,
is
I
the
haven't.
chairman.
Oh, yeah, Jamie Machado.
Okay,
Al is the chair of the board.
okay. So what is it that you're, let's take it this way. We know what the issue is. I've read some of the emails. So what is it that you're proposing?
We're just reflecting on the site's conversation. We picked, Dave, the contractor, and, Kathleen talked about the location that seemed appropriate and, agreeable to both parties. So I'm just reflecting that onto the drawings. And so on the east elevation facing the river, I believe they talked about where the roof slopes down and meets the horizontal
Mhm.
at that
Mhm.
conjunction, at that angle or connection
Mhm.
to bring down the trim.
Right.
So everything from that trim toward the street
Mhm.
will be replaced with siding that matches the front.
Right.
The smooth
Right.
siding.
All right, now, are we talking
We're
about,
talking about here,
Which
right,
is here.
right there, and then the textured hardy, we,
And the
Going to-
texture hardy from that trim back will be coming from,
here? Okay, so this is the west side, right?
facing the
West
river.
elevation, yes.
Yes.
Okay, so now on the east elevation,
So on the east elevation, which is part of the west solution, is everything from the chimney to the street will be taken out, which is that textured siding, and be relocated to the west, which is,
well, what's the story with that?
It's just trying to make it look straight, that's all.
All right, but I mean, does the
Oh, that's just-
siding continue up?
Yeah, so whatever this trim is, it'll be the same flat fascia.
Okay. So in other words, this continues up like this, and it's sort of the same trim as that?
Yes. And then it's just a white fascia board that goes.
And this continues across over here.
We can do that, yep.
Okay. So,
So
The-
everything, oh, I'm sorry.
well, I guess my question is is this what everybody agrees to? Or are there any questions about this?
Well, it is, and why don't you go first, because you were actually there. I
So
would pop
Kathleen and
over
I, walked around the building
Mhm.
several times. So from the sidewalk, from the public right of way, this portion of the building, the texture is much less visible. We consulted with the Sanborn map, and we think, judging by the, mass of the building next door, the endless scheme, that this would have been about where the original
Building was.
where the original structure, existed. So, so that was how we decided to do that. It also happened to be just kind of the visual breaking point where you didn't see the texture so much. So, that was how we arrived at that conclusion. And then on this side, on the west elevation, again, we walked around. It's set so far back, you really don't see the texture.
Mhm.
However, this portion of the building is obviously very visible
From the
from the
sidewalk.
sidewalk. So
Right.
we want exact,
Well,
the
above, yeah.
yeah, right there, exactly. So it's noticeable from here, especially, as the sun sets and things, it's facing west. So, this we want it to be smooth, this we want it to be smooth, but they can reuse the textured, material here.
Okay.
Wherever it's.
Yeah,
whatever's left
wherever
over.
it's permitted, yeah, so. That was our idea.
Okay. And this is, you're in agreement with doing this?
Yes.
We're looking at this particular thing. Are there any questions from the board members?
No, I think that this is an appropriate solution to the issue.
All right, so do I have a recommendation on the siding question as presented by the applicant?
I would move to accept that portion of the application as modified.
Do I have a second?
I will second that.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
Okay.
siding issue is resolved.
Okay.
All right, now let's talk about the front.
Can I interrupt for a question now?
Yeah,
Sure.
This is a recommendation, quote unquote, not a motion?
No, it's a motion.
it's a motion.
Oh, okay,
Right.
thank you.
Okay, so the other issue is that we, okay, there's an issue with the stoop as well, but I think that that has,
The issue with the stoop's been withdrawn from the application.
right, because it's gonna just stay in the position
Right.
it is, which is at grade. Okay, so the other issue now is that of the height, the roof construction, and what it actually is going to end up being. Can I have a copy of the email from,
This?
How about, why
no,
don't
No.
you,
from
Oh,
today.
Kathleen, yeah.
I just wanna put these in the correct order.
I think I got
okay,
them all
and
out of order,
that
sorry.
and also, why don't you address the drawing that was submitted.
Okay. So. This is a photo of the building when we first started talking about the change in the roof height when the stop work order was issued. This is a photo of the building from today and where I'm only pointing these at you because you're the applicant, I'm really showing them now.
Oh, okay.
That's what the roof looks like today. So the question is, the issue was that the pitch of the roof was going to be adjusted so that the water could run off the back. And all pitch in one direction. So this is the drawing that was submitted with showing the adjustment to the height of the roof. So the question is, I guess this drawing seems to misrepresent the height change that we're seeing here. But is this not the final condition of how this drawing is going to be implemented? Or is this roof that we're seeing here the final roof height?
That's the final roof height.
Okay.
We're not extending it. Actually, seems like it got this dash line wrong.
So when we had our last discussion about this, and Al, these are the October 23rd drawings. Are there early October drawings?
Well, the earlier drawings, I was proposing a parapet higher than this.
The last time that we discussed this, when you said that you were able to, divert the water towards the west side of the building.
North.
Right, but going this way and then going back.
Right.
It was not going to result in an increase in the height of the parapet to this degree. You had told us that you had mitigated it so that the overall height of the parapet would be would be more or less at the existing height of it.
Well, I thought where this was what it is today. I didn't realize, because I didn't see that part. I thought that part was demo.
But clearly, from what we're looking at here, I mean, you can tell that the distance from the top of this window to the top of the new parapet is extreme. I mean, it's almost double the height of the existing window. So when we were looking at this with you, we were led to believe that what you were telling us is that the difference between the brackets and the window would be what's represented here in this drawing. But that's clearly not what's going to happen. If this point here is the actual high point of the roof that you're proposing,
And when
then
was this picture taken?
today.
Today.
All right, so I wasn't aware of that. I thought this point right here is this point, and this was removed to make things better.
But this drawing clearly shows that the brackets are much closer to the windows,
Mm-hmm.
which was why we were comfortable moving in this direction because basically what was explained to us was that the height of the parapet was going to be essentially essentially in the same position as it was, give or take, 8 inches or 9 inches or even a foot. But this is a much more extreme distance. I mean, the issue with this building is that over the course of its sort of lifetime, the windows that are in there now are already so much smaller than the original windows would have been. So the facade kind of has this funny scale issue that we're dealing with, I mean, it's a known existing condition, but to exasperate it so much more by having this be the high point of the parapet it's going to have to be reconsidered somehow.
I guess the question I have is that, looking at this, evidently this was something which was peeking over this ledge, right? Because this is above it. Am I-
Well, my proposal here,
Yeah,
I was led to believe that we needed to add more to create a better slope,
right.
thinking that this was flat. That the top was taken out, and so it was relatively a low sloped area meeting the existing back part. I'm finding out that it's not the case, that, it's been added up from here, so I'm at a loss myself. Because I was, brought on board to add a parapet to improve the slope. When I went on site a week ago, you know, it was obvious that all the slope was in a positive direction in that, toward the north. So I was originally, in this drawing, I was proposing a parapet to improve what is there
Right.
to begin with,
But
so.
then you dug down to the original roof line, right? And you-
No, it's based on pictures.
So what we're looking at right here, if, I guess,
Well, I guess let me sort of cut to the chase here. So what you're telling us is that this is not possible.
This,
essentially having the parapet be here
and
and
then
have
just demoing everything.
everything to, this point,
Oh,
roughly.
it wouldn't be that much. It would just take this and probably be over here.
So that this approximate area would be the high point of the facade.
Mhm.
Right.
That is possible, or that is not possible?
Well, I don't know what's up there, what's inside. Is that all attic space? On the inside, is there mechanical rooms in here? Is it all empty?
Which one?
Inside, there's a ceiling line,
Yeah,
and then there's a framing. I don't know which way the framing is going.
a room, we have room there.
No, but the framing itself, is there a roof framing here and then on top?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Let me cut the conversation short, because essentially the issue is that we don't know what the construction is here. That's what I'm hearing.
Right,
So
I was
if
only
that's the
asked
case,
to-
if that's the case, then I don't think we should be talking about options if we don't even know what the framing is.
I just know what the surface is on the top. This is actually news to me myself.
This,
Yes.
Condition. Okay. So that being the case, we are going to need to have you tell us whether the conditions that you've drawn are achievable with the existing structure. Because if they are,
Yeah.
then then we are
Now,
comfortable to review it and to move forward. If they are not, then we need to have a alternative to make up for that distance. That if we simply take the brackets which are being reproduced from the original building and slide them, this much further up the facade, it's
Mhm.
gonna look ridiculous. It's not going to look in scale to the building.
and
that's-
during one of our workshops, we had that exact discussion.
back when we thought that
The parapet had
the
to be
parapet
built.
height had to be
Right,
increased, we
right.
kind of started talking about how to mitigate that and how to make it more in scale by adding some more sort of structure to it. Once we saw this opportunity,
Mhm.
that conversation ended because it was
It
not going
brings
to
the
be
roof
necessary.
line back down to the original height and brings the whole building within scale of itself, the original scale.
So you want
So
the original height to
the
be?
last time you were here, that's exactly what we talked about. So I don't know how this could have happened between this discussion, the site visit, and today.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, here is, I think what we're talking about, is going to something like this, right? And this is a photograph of what it started out at.
See, this is what the impression I thought. That what was there was reflecting this. Hence, that's where my peak came from.
Okay, because I guess the question that I have is, what is shown here, is this doable? And what I sense is that you guys don't know.
Well,
So,
we have to open it up.
I thought we arrived at this conclusion because the roof had been opened up and looked at. How did we get here?
Well, I was led to believe that this was achieved. Because this was the accepted drawings.
well, I don't see any stamps of approval on this. I know that there was a drawing when you first started the project,
60,
which had something that kind of looked like this, but I don't recall exactly what. Now, my question is that this is what I think that we were led to believe is doable, and so the question is that if you can do this, this is what we would like.
That's fine, no problem. Just, I'm sorry, tell Dave to do this one. If anything, I said, tell Dave to do this. Doesn't matter what, you can do this.
So bringing it to that point to
Yes,
here.
that's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that the issue is that, let's make sure it's real,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and.
We want the building to look good, we also don't want the building to fall
I
down.
understand.
So,
So it becomes a question of, you gotta find out what is there, and maybe revise this drawing to reflect exactly what you're gonna be able to do. I mean, this is what we would like to shoot for, but you guys need to check it out and make sure that it can be done.
I'm
and
pretty sure it is, because if there's no mechanical room in there, no equipment,
No.
it's just empty space.
Yeah,
I don't see any problem with doing that, because I probably in one time, and again, I have to be, I mean, anything's possible,
right,
we could figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
The span is not that bad, I just gotta find the loading points to make sure it works, but that's,
because
Well-
however much the distance between the window and the parapet increases, it's going to have to be visually reduced by in sort of building up the complexity of the cornice. That's what we're trying to balance. So if this is not achievable, but you can get halfway between that and this height, then we'll have to look at the cornice and how that can be kind of built out so that the things all stay in proportion. But right now, with the cornice that's proposed, which is relatively simple, using those brackets, it will really only work if it's close to this height, to the original height, sorry.
okay.
If it's gonna have to get much, much taller, then we're gonna have
the
to,
bracket needs to get bigger.
we're gonna have to figure everything out so it all stays in scale.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so, second Wednesday
Which I
of
don't know what day that
November.
is.
We are coming to work tomorrow. Oh, okay.
Um,
He must be coming tomorrow, for example, because there's a lot of leak in our room. Right, when any rain, I showed it to Catherine before. I inside is now 4 guys, but all the time it rain. This
Well,
is
there's more rain coming too.
all the. I know it's now 4 guys, but
yeah,
look at this.
Hmm.
The 2 room in the front, I carried it. It's damaged like crazy. Mold in there right now is.
Okay.
so we're meeting again on the 13th?
So we can't
Well-
touch it. We can't touch anything in the roof. The 13, correct?
Well, I
I mean, you
guess,
can patch the roof to
Yeah.
keep the water out, but
Right.
it might just need to be removed.
I guess the question I have, and I'm debating whether or not to go in this direction, is approve this.
I think I know where you're gonna go with this. I mean, if you're willing to correct it,
Yeah, that's fine, whatever,
all right.
I get the proof, I'm gonna do tomorrow.
How about approving a
This,
line, and then I'll make sure it happens.
right, and if this can't be done, then
We
we
have
need
to
to
have
see
a
revised
That's why we'll
drawings.
call you immediately, like within, sometime in the middle of next week. Probably in the beginning of next week, we could tell you right away.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
If this can be achieved
Right,
as,
this is the
drawn,
ideal, that's why.
which is what we talked about at the last
We talked
meeting,
about it, yeah.
then I'm
Fix it like
comfortable
that.
approving that.
Something to get, fix it like that, please.
You just gotta do everything I
Like
said.
that, yeah, like, yeah.
Okay, so do I
Okay, the
have,
contractor still listens to you.
do I have a
You
motion,
have to,
Well, now I became the boss,
yeah.
so,
do I have a motion to approve the elevation, the cornice as it's shown on this drawing?
I would move to accept it as,
Do
drawn.
I have a second?
I will, second that.
can I add something to that? As a suggestion, that what I'm showing here represents the original height of the corners, which I know I could find. This way I got some clout on my end.
All
To
right,
be forceful to make certain things happen. So in other words, see this this little circle here? That represents the original height. I mean, if I follow that line.
I mean, that's a guess on my part, but
Uh,
yes. If the original height of the,
Well, I
From the
can
side.
tell, I mean, once
Okay.
I go in there, I can see where the old wood and the new wood starts.
right,
So that will be my,
that is the, if you look at the clearance between the windows and the bottom of, and you know, where the bracket probably
Mhm.
would be, that is, except I don't think that this enclosed thing is the same.
hmm.
if this was taken today, the original siding is still there. The original trim is still there.
yeah,
Right,
So that is
That's
going
how
to
we're-
be, that's
that's how-
my
Yeah.
point.
that would
That's
be.
my point of,
Yeah,
to spring off from.
right.
okay,
And I'll do whatever I can, whether this is steep slope or whether this meets here or it goes up to there, whatever. All I need is a small, quarter inch to a foot slope rate,
Mhm.
which would bring it up to here. So there might be still this, it's just taking this and draining northward,
Right,
downward, and wherever that line is for a minimal slope. So this is not an issue, it's just that is being the issue.
mhm.
yeah, so essentially, it's, from the side, it's going to just look like this,
Mhm.
straight back, without
Right.
this adjustment. I mean,
Right.
this angle is quite strange,
So,
but,
but in other words, the slope has nothing to do with your, you know, your approval. It's just that taking this spring and doing whatever I have to
Right.
do to slope
Right.
backwards.
Right,
The slope could be anything.
the slope can
If
be
it's
anything,
better,
we don't
if
care.
it's better if it's deeper, then I'll choose that. If it's better to be minimal, I'll choose that.
Okay, yeah,
Okay,
mhm,
Yeah, we're concerned with the appearance on the front.
right, Okay.
On the side, whether this is like this or, you know, steeper, is not that critical.
okay,
mhm.
all right.
It's
So.
not visible from a public
Well, it
right
gives me
away.
more flexibility to come
Right.
up with a solution rather
Okay.
than go back and forth a couple months
right,
to suggest, to find
but
something that everyone agrees with.
pursuant to the earlier conversation, I guess depending on, so you're saying that if you are, so you're gonna start from this point, you're gonna slope backwards, however you need to slope backwards.
Right.
Is it going to affect this corner
No.
here where we've just determined the
That will,
siding
that will
will,
stay.
that
where
will
it is.
always be there? Okay,
Yeah,
then yes, I'm comfortable with that.
Mhm.
okay.
Okay,
then you
so
could proceed.
I have a motion, that was seconded to approve
Yep.
the cornice as
Yeah.
shown on this particular drawing.
So the cornice will, so the height of the cornice will be reflective, will match that on the drawing.
Right.
And the slope, the actual slope of the roof will be determined by the architect and the contractor in the future.
Mhm.
All right. Andrew?
I will move to,
Well, that
Well, we
it
made the
was
motion and
already
we
moved.
seconded,
okay,
It's already
so
moved, already seconded.
I will
so-
vote aye.
aye.
Sean? Aye. Okay, done.
All right,
Excuse
thank
me,
you.
Al, what is the drawing number that we've been talking about for the last
Ten
function?
23 is the date on that drawing.
Is there a
Yeah,
drawing number?
But it's A103 and A104.
Thank you.
From
Thank you,
the
Michael.
received 1023.
Yeah, received today.
Height apart from actual originals, slope
Okay?
will,
One up three, one six, open it up.
Okay, any other issues that need to be addressed?
oh, so you
About
had
the rating,
just, yeah, you had just mentioned earlier,
the rating, which
I think that you'll just need to, oh, where's your, is there anything in there about the, front stoop and the railing?
I think it's part of
Now you
this.
have the picture of me.
Yeah.
I think
Do I have a picture?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, maybe it's on this one. Okay, here it is. So Al, the question, okay. So in the certificate of appropriateness that we signed for this, the railing was,
Yeah,
we approved the railing in concept and, then they want this to be the primary landing pad off of the street. It's not, I mean, this slope here is not, it's not an actual ADA landing, but it is, you know, does give them a bit of the ramp. They want to run the railing on this facade, across this facade to here. And then what Jimmy just asked me, just as we were walking in, is about having a rail, you know, whether or not the railing needs to be on this side. Originally, they were hoping that this direction and this direction would both be an ADA slope. It's not.
Well, you can't have this because you got grass.
No.
Right.
Lovely.
So now the question is just adding an additional length of railing on this side.
there's no need for it.
There is no need for it?
No, I mean, you only need a railing if there's more than something like
It has to
42
be
inches.
18 inches, then you need something, but you don't need a railing for that.
Like from here to there, like,
No.
no? Okay.
Okay, great.
Okay,
Thanks, sir. Thank you.
good,
All right,
Good.
Thank you. Thank
so we
you.
got it done.
yes.
All right,
We'll promise, and anything,
No,
Thank
you
you.
got it.
Let us know right away if there's any
Any changes.
hiccups and what-
I tell him come tomorrow,
meeting.
fix the
Thank
roof
you.
if it's raining.
Thank you.
See you,
Thank
take
you.
care.
Thank you.
Bye, Jimmy.
Sorry guys, man. Thanks,
Jimmy.
sir.
Thanks for your time,
Thanks.
guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
And this all goes into the file.
excuse me.
Man, how many trees died for this?
Hey, Sean,
Yes.
the agenda says 41 Main Street, but isn't this on Fair Street that we talked about? Is this
Oh,
a
it's
different-
Garden Street, yes,
Garden.
Yeah.
you're right.
I knew it was a different street.
Good catch.
Next to Our Lady of Loretta, right? Okay.
Okay, why don't you join us?
Come on down.
I'm just gonna text Kathleen and say.
Good evening, everybody.
hand these around.
Yeah.
How you doing, Al?
Not too bad, how are you?
Good. You remember me?
Yes. From,
How's your
from
wife?
Alvin.
How's Candy?
She's doing fine. Yeah,
Good.
playing. with-
How's your kids?
Very well, thank you.
Good. Drove them all around Cold Spring, though.
No, one's in Oregon and the other's in Boston.
No, I drove them all around Cold Spring. They were little.
Oh, and the, yeah.
Yeah. Drove a lot of kids around. So they threw me out of North Highlands. I think I spend the last quarter of my life in Cold Spring.
Well,
So I see it that way.
It's a nice
Okay.
place to spend.
Oh, this is the, okay, I see. That's the original.
okay,
Got it.
so tell us what you wanna do. And
I want to hit the lotto.
get the- Okay, well, as soon as you get the numbers, the magic numbers, let us all know.
Okay. What we want to do. She's
So we are proposing the house is 41 Garden Street. It's
Mhm.
the small brick ranch right next to
Oh,
the,
I used to live on Garden Street.
oh,
I know it.
Oh, literally right next to it, yes. I know
yeah,
this one.
right next
Okay.
to the parking lot of the Loretto, and we were proposing, a small addition at the back of the house. It's one story, we're basically continuing the same hip roof construction over the back part of the addition, maintaining the building height. The addition will also have a true solid 4-inch brick veneer, which will blend with the existing brick. And in addition to the proposed one-story addition at the back of the house, we'd also like to replace all of the windows in full, not replacement inserts, but
Mhm.
replacing the entire window units
Mhm.
and the garage door as well.
can't lift it anymore. It's too heavy.
So the main portion of the addition that is visible from the public way is, on the southerly facade, which you can see quite clearly from Garden Street. The back of the addition is really not visible from a public way that I can tell, but I suppose when all the leaves are off the trees, you might catch a glimpse from Fair Street, and the back. Same with the back, kind of northerly corner.
Alright, so the east elevation, I don't see any changes to, aside from the window being replaced, right?
Correct, that's correct.
So now on the south, which is the,
Facing the parking lot of Lady Loretto. So that you can see kind of on the left
okay,
end
the
of
left
that.
portion of it is what is extended.
Correct, a 12-foot extension.
Okay. Okay, so on the west elevation, because of the house is extended, the chimney is now behind.
Within the house.
And what's that?
So the windows, we're proposing to replace with the same style double tongue, but in an Anderson 400 series vinyl clad window. Again, the entire window will be replaced in full, and then the new casing on the exterior, and that's shown on drawing A4. There's a detail of the window. We'll end up with about 1 3/4 to 2 inch casing, which we'd like to do in a PVC casing and then a PVC AZEK sill as well.
Now, where is this door?
That is on the back, door number 1 on the west elevation. You're looking at right there, actually,
So this is the new door,
yes.
which is
which is back here, at the back of the house. That we're proposing a fiberglass, 2/3 light flush glazed door, with a raised panel below. There's only one new window that will receive shutters, and the shutters will be custom made to match the existing wood shutters on the house.
Okay, the garage door is on the garage, which is back here. It's not drawn here.
No, it's not drawn. We do have, this is the existing garage door.
Mhm.
And we're proposing a steel door. I'm sorry, the color copies didn't really show the detail very well, but it's basically a raised panel detail. It won't, I don't believe it will have 6 divisions, but 4 divisions, as far as I know, across the door.
Which is shown here.
Correct. And that, if it would be helpful, I can bring a drawing of the door for the next,
Oh,
for the public hearing. I'm assuming there'll be a public hearing.
That is
Well,
actually
I
our
guess-
goal of this meeting is to, determine whether we need a public hearing.
okay, well, have we done secret?
We have not done secret.
All right, do I have a motion concerning the secret application, or the secret status?
I would move to classify it type 2, this is a minor modification to, pre-existing structure.
Do I have a second?
I will second
All in favor, say aye.
it.
Okay. So, now, the question as to whether or not a public hearing is required. Do I have any thoughts from the board?
It's a small addition, but it's an addition, it's barely visible from a public right of way. What is their take on that in the past? How often do we require, a public hearing for an addition?
For an addition, I think we've required them pretty much every time.
Yeah,
Uh,
trying to think of a time when we didn't.
I can't think of the last time that we did not require one. I would say, I mean, not only is it an addition and it is our practice, but I would just say that its proximity to the church just makes it a little bit more of a visible property. I know in many ways it would not be considered contributing to the period of significance of our historic district. Which does not mean that it is not a beautiful building. It is just it is a beautiful building of a different era.
It's uniquely beautiful.
Yeah. So I think I would be inclined to vote to
Just
have a
because it's
public
an
hearing.
addition and because we can't think of a time when we didn't, and if nothing else.
Just to, maintain
It,
precedent.
just to maintain order in the neighborhood too. I mean, you don't wanna surprise your neighbors with, oh, we're building an addition, so, yeah.
But as far as the materials, the completeness of the application to go to public hearing, I think that this is
Yeah.
sufficient. If we could get a drawing of the garage door, or even if not a full drawing, just confirmation whether it's gonna be 4 by 4 or 4 by
Yeah.
5. And my only question is just about the brick. so it's gonna be, so the brick is gonna be matched, you know, as best as the brick can be matched
Correct.
and feathered in. What about the mortar? How are we gonna get the mortar to match
Yeah.
nicely?
Good question.
Is it gonna have to
That is a
be?
good question.
Cause we've had experiences of brand new construction where they had to close up a window only a month after the building was built and the mortar does not match.
Right.
So, for a building of this age that's been through plenty of winters, if we can just get a clear plan of how that's gonna
Okay,
happen.
okay. I
And
don't
if
have
there-
an answer to that
Right,
right now,
and if there
so-
is going to be a sort of aging period, so to speak,
Mhm.
you know, obviously it's gonna go on and it's gonna look great, it's gonna look brand new. Is it 1 year, 2 years, 3 years before the difference, you know, kind of fades out and it absorbs the moisture that it needs to
Right.
match?
If you extend this in the back, this is where the addition is going, right?
Correct, yep.
Are you gonna still be able to get into the garage?
You are, yes, it's, it definitely creates a little bit of an awkward approach, but you can still access the garage, that's the site plan.
With the addition?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
We already did the, trial run as far as getting it,
Okay.
there's no, the garage is wide enough, the open. is wide
Yeah,
enough.
the driveway is big
Very.
enough.
Yeah,
Should
so
be.
there's no obstruction as far as keep trying to.
Well, the addition isn't extending the width of the building at all, right? It's just extending the
Right,
depth.
it's
Yeah.
going back, and that was my concern, I mean, looking at it from here,
Mhm.
it looks like
Looks
it.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
it's a very
yeah.
narrow driveway, but, it's
We
kind of
we scoped it out
awesome
before.
now.
You put some flags up to.
My wife wouldn't have it that way because she wants her car in the garage.
All right, so I guess as far as a public hearing, this is kind of borderline, because typically for additions, we do have, request a public hearing, just so that, you know, neighbors are not, you know, they don't come out of the woodwork and say, well, what's going on over here? But it is pretty borderline, I mean, I think, for your sake, you're probably better off with a public hearing and, you know, get everything out of the table, and then you shouldn't have any concerns as far as, the neighbors. Neighbors can't come back and say, well,
Just
gee, I
the
didn't.
adjacent neighbors you're talking about. right?
Yeah. Not the
Well,
town.
the way that the process.
It's a circle.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
well, you have to send out notifications to the immediate adjoiners, but it's a public hearing and anybody in the village, can come. It's not exactly, if there's something on TV that's better, trust me.
We
Yeah.
actually, we're going before the zoning board too, and we have a public hearing scheduled for them on November 7th, so.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, could you, the hearings need to be posted twice, is that right?
Yeah.
And the things need to go out, so that means if we could have the public hearing during our, we have 3 weeks, yeah. We could definitely do it, during our meeting on the 13th. Would any, how's the zoning board going?
So that's one thing I mean, basically, we had one meeting, they reviewed the application for completeness. They asked us to bring an aerial view of the surrounding area, but they didn't really comment on it much.
Okay.
They kind of do that at the public hearing. The one thing I did wanna talk to you about is, so the purpose of this addition is to achieve some additional first floor accessible space, an accessible bathroom, and additional floor area that's
Mhm.
accessible. But also, just given the style of the house, you know, we really felt that a one-story addition was the most appropriate
Mhm.
approach to
Mhm.
this structure. So our variance is for lot coverage, which we're exceeding our lot coverage.
Mm.
And obviously, if we did a second-story addition, well, the problems are twofold. One, we're not gaining the accessible space that we need, but also, we feel a second-story addition is
Yeah.
inappropriate.
Totally
given-
changes the house, yeah.
Mhm.
So is that something that your board can communicate to the zoning board, if you have a, I don't
Yes,
know,
a memo,
Mhm.
stating a preference for, a single-story solution of, we can do that.
We can memo.
That would be great.
To the zoning board or the planning board?
Just zoning, we don't have to go to planning.
We prefer one-story solution. Okay,
And the entire roof is gonna be reshingled?
The
Or
entire
just
roof,
the-
yes,
Oh, yes,
right,
oh, yeah, so, and the garage roof too is gonna be reshingled with the same, matching, shingles. The architectural, whatever color.
When was that house built, do you know?
Sometime in the sixties.
Huh?
Do you know when the house was
61.
built?
61.
My wife has her name engraved in this concrete, so I know
Aw.
exactly.
Oh, really?
She wants me to, if we do any construction as far as the concrete, which we will, because we don't have new stuff in, she goes, you cut this piece out and you put it right.
Yeah.
The other, 'cause
You
me and my
should.
me and my sister both put our names in there, right,
Oh,
in
that's
the,
so cute.
engraved in 1961.
Wow.
all right, now, the, garage door, I'm just sort of curious as to why you went to a 4-panel as opposed to, I guess the original one was 6-panel?
Yeah, so I think because that was a standard layout, given the particular door size, but I can look into that
Yeah,
again.
as far as, yeah, the Dutchess overhead, yeah, the standard,
Okay.
I had them down here and they said, wait a minute, you can't put the door up. 'Cause I wanted to put the door up right away. Cause I don't know when, I know the springs are gonna last, but, can we put the door up right away? He goes, well, from what my colleagues tell me, this is a historical area.
All right, and does anybody have any comment as far as, I mean, I have no issue as far as the door, because it's actually on the back side. And,
The human door?
yeah,
So the window openings are gonna remain the same size, they're just putting in,
Correct.
okay.
Yeah, and the materials are, I would say they're allowable in this part of the district, but I actually don't know what part of the district
Oh,
it's in.
you know what?
Do you have
It's in the
Map.
local,
It's in the
it's
local.
just over the line. I think the church is in the.
and, the Muntin configurations are gonna stay the same as they are now.
Correct, there are no divided lights
No
in these
divided
windows,
lights.
just one over one.
Just double check. That's good. That's the church. He's
Or
right
is
next
it-
door. He is local. Wait, no, lands within, was
The
national and historic, and local.
Now, is this the lot here?
On Garden Street,
That must
it's
be the-
that blue one
I think it's the
right
first
here.
blue one,
It's the
probably,
first
yeah.
It is?
one, yeah. The first
Yeah,
yellow
because
is
that's
still
right,
part
this
of
is,
the
this was the
church.
church,
That's the parking
and
lot.
that's the parking,
Okay,
okay.
cool.
So what do we actually say that, what's our actual window language?
So it's just locally listed?
It's in the local district,
Local.
yes.
Right over the line. You got lucky.
And then just for reference, just for you to
Oh.
double check, this is
Final.
the, there's a
Yeah.
list on the.
Great,
inside
yeah.
of
That was the
Yeah,
one that we
yeah,
were looking
that's
at.
right. Okay, yeah, it was part of the church.
And then these were the neighbors we were notifying for the
Uh-huh.
ZBA, are those all okay
Yep.
for you?
Mhm.
They went out
Yeah.
today, they went out today.
Right.
They get to do it over again, and
So-
another week, you'll get a new notice for the historic review board when you send it. It's okay.
All right, so, do I have a motion to schedule a public hearing for November 13th?
I will make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I will second that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All right, 13th,
Excellent, thank you very much.
and we'll have a public hearing. Hopefully, take care of it.
Very nicely organized.
Okay.
All right,
Thank you.
nice seeing you
Thank
again.
you.
Take
Thank
care.
you. Good night.
Take care.
Good
Nice
night.
to see you.
Take it
We'll see
easy.
you soon.
I
Nice to
actually
see
take
you
it
all,
easy.
glad you're doing well.
Huh?
I'm glad to see you doing well.
Oh, thank you.
Take care. Hey, Anita, how you doing?
Okay, public hearing.
All right,
Hi.
we got some new business.
Hi,
Hey, Anita.
everybody.
How you doing?
Good. Will you remind me of your names?
Sean.
Sean.
Andrea.
Andrea.
Al.
Hi.
Okay, so.
And you must be Anita.
I am Anita.
Okay.
And Kathleen called me this afternoon just to ask me to provide a few minor details, but I couldn't copy them because my printers couldn't read it.
That's okay. All of the printers in the village seem to start working this week.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so so the issue was that, okay, you can tell us what your, why don't you tell us what your issue is?
I was told that because the fence is visible from Orchard Street,
Mhm.
I should apply for a permit.
Oh, okay, but is the existing fence non-compliant? Is that the problem?
It's falling apart.
Oh, it just needs to be replaced, okay. I thought there was a issue with the building inspector.
What are you going to be replacing it with?
The very last picture, that, called a Victorian topper.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
All
Yeah.
right, so you're going from this to that.
Exactly. The company, Campanella, that we consulted with, that he showed me, that he told me where to go to look at the fence he had just done on Main Street. And I did.
on Main Street. Oh, is this,
By the endless skein. Yeah, this is the current, sorry, that's the example of the fence we're getting.
between, 126 and, the McCaffrey building, the brick building?
I believe that's the right
Yeah.
place, where
Yeah.
the endless skein
Uh-huh.
is. So that's what, pretty much exactly what it will look like.
Okay. And the height is 5 feet tall with 4 foot tall doors. No. The whole thing is 4 feet tall. Oh, this is just
It's
showing,
5
these are
feet?
showing the lengths.
Right,
Okay.
and this, right, and that's
And
the
the doors,
back gate.
so it's 4 feet wide, okay.
Yeah, and, we weren't sure of what the maximum allowed height is.
Well,
I think it's 4 foot.
Okay,
Mm.
that's fine with us. Yeah.
is it different if it's around a pool?
That's what I was wondering.
No, well, I don't think it is. I think that 4 foot seems to be the magic number.
Mm.
Can you go higher though? Is that allowed?
No.
You need to get a,
Okay.
if you're in a residential,
If
on a
you're abutting-
residential parcel, abutting residential parcels, you
Mhm.
need to get a variance, which are not
For-
likely, to go above 4 feet.
Oh, no, we don't want to. We
Yeah.
just, the fence guys and us just wanted to go higher if we could, and we couldn't remember
Mhm.
what the maximum was.
Yeah.
4 feet is fine with us. Mainly to keep wandering children and
Oh,
teenagers
yeah.
out.
It's really the teenagers that are the problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Okay, well, I think that the proposed, replacement is certainly more in keeping with the district than what's currently there.
Mhm.
Yes.
Is it going to be?
Well,
Sorry.
Do I have a motion concerning secret?
Oh,
Oh,
I would classify it type 2 because it's a, is it a minor modification? No, what is it?
It's
a fence.
monumentally insignificant.
minor modification. to
Minor
a residential
modification.
forest-
A residential
Parcel.
Parcel, okay.
That's it.
Okay.
Would someone like to second it? I guess it would be.
I will like to
Yeah.
Okay, and the second, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I,
Okay, so now we can talk about, does anybody, I think that, just to clarify what actually, this is what you're proposing.
Right, so Kathleen asked me this afternoon, so I found one of Karen Park's old drawings of our house. You can see
Oh,
it kind of
cool.
underneath.
mhm.
I'm sorry, it's gonna be upside down to someone.
Sorry.
And she told me, I said, I had to do it myself, so just
It looks good.
roughly, thanks, you know, roughly where it is, and Orchard Street is here. And this is the house. We're not gonna take down the back fence, but here.
Okay, so in other words,
Okay.
let's just sort of clarify, this is existing fence to remain.
Correct.
And is the new fence, is all of the new fencing covering the same boundary as the old fencing? Or is it,
We're moving it out a little bit,
okay,
yeah, between the, yeah. Kathleen just said to provide something that you guys could provide, that would provide you guys with some perspective, since
Mhm.
the old, survey we have is really,
Right.
really spare.
alright.
Um, Okay.
And then,
And we're talking about a 4-foot tall fence.
Sure.
right. And the material of the panels is?
I believe it's cedar.
Yeah.
It should be on the,
It just says the posts are cedar.
Install on left side of house, 5-foot tall, which is
Oh,
a
cedar, I
4-foot
see.
tall, all cedar fence,
there.
4-foot tall bottom tongue and groove with 1-foot tall framed spindle topper. There'll be a single walk gate facing the road. All right, and so it says on the driveway side, the fence will be 4-foot tall in total height, 3-foot tall solid with 1-foot spindle topper. So that would be the same thing here. This would be 4-foot tall, 3-foot solid, and 1-foot spindle topper.
And just one other thing too, I mean, based on this drawing, they've done it correctly, but we do want the fence panels to
Mhm.
sit between the posts, not, on top of it. With this construction, they wouldn't really be able to do that anyway, but just so you're aware that, this photo is the proper installation.
This is proper.
This is correct,
Okay.
yeah.
Right.
Must sit above, you said.
Well, it sits between the posts, so the
In
post.
other words, you've got the posts like this. And there are actually two ways of installing it. One would be to put the fence panel in between, which is what we prefer.
Okay,
But the other option, this is what we do not like, is if it's applied to the side.
oh yeah, no,
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
this is,
yeah, let's see,
okay,
yeah, so this is correct, okay,
that's
yeah.
correct. And then do you have, is that the hardware for the
Yeah,
gate?
I mean, we haven't, we're happy to put on any kind that you can approve of, we haven't made a contract yet.
Yeah,
We want to get the fence first, so,
the gate is going to be, you're gonna have a gate that faces the front, the kind of
Correct.
front side lawn,
yeah,
right?
it'll be here.
So that'll be
yeah.
visible.
Yes,
Um,
with a gate in the middle,
I would say that the driveway gate is less visible,
Mm.
if, I don't think.
It's not visible at all.
I don't think it's at all
The
visible.
building juts out here and
Yeah.
this is
And
back.
you are just that length away from the next door house, so
Right.
just that car width away.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Al, what did you say is supposed to be 3 feet?
well, and in the description,
Uh-huh.
because they call out a 5-foot tall fence
Oh, you're
and a
just
4-foot
changing.
tall.
Okay,
And so, in the upper portion where they talk about, the 5-foot tall, they say that the solid portion's 4 foot, and then you have the 1-foot spindle.
okay,
But basically, it's all gonna be
I
4
see.
foot, so it'll be the way that they describe it down here.
okay, gotcha, thank you.
The metal fixture
Mm-hmm.
seems more appropriate for, and much more durable
Yeah,
than
Yeah.
the old wood.
I think either is fine, but metal will last longer.
yeah, I mean, it's more old style too,
Yeah.
it's.
Okay, do I have a motion? Oh, I guess, just for clarification's sake, as far as the posts, are we gonna have the caps for the posts like that?
Yes,
It says it has a board with a pyramid post cap.
Okay. All right, so do I have, a motion concerning the application as modified?
I will move to accept the application as modified.
I will second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye,
lovely,
done.
thank you so much. I'm really nervous. Okay, so we can proceed to hire the contractor as
Yeah.
well. All right.
Well,
Al will,
over the
process-
weekend, I will process, I will stamp and do paperwork, and it'll be ready Monday.
Okay,
So, with that in hand, you can then talk to the contractor and show him what was approved.
okay. Do you want my hand sketch?
we should, do we want it?
No,
The other one is
I think that, essentially what was shown on
That
that
has
little
the
sketch is
length,
more
yeah.
than,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
thank you very much. Did you take the topper picture, which is
Yeah.
fine, that's fine, okay. Very good,
We have
You have your copy in the application.
great.
You talking about the hardware?
The hardware's in there, at
The
least
one
what I
we were
gave
just
you.
looking, you guys were just looking at. I don't think I took it back. Yeah.
There's a picture of the,
Latches?
Yeah,
yep, I gave you that.
Okay.
there's only
It's in
one.
there.
Then it's in here.
It's in there.
And my copier works.
Good.
3 copies.
Yours is
Okay.
maybe the only one, what's your address?
Mine was working, but what else is working?
I ran out of
Well,
ink.
we had to
and
go
we
to the
had-
trouble of buying a new one because we're
Ah.
tired of screwing around with the old one.
I got a really good one from Staples. It was like $150.
Yeah.
But it has a it can print 11 by 17 and can scan 11 by
What?
17.
That's
That I do
awesome.
not have.
I'm sure there's probably some ethical reason why I shouldn't have bought it, but it's working fine. I have one in my
Yeah.
office too.
Alright, I bought mine from there probably 10 years ago, and it, you know, it's still fun. And it
Yeah.
faxes and scans too, when it has the ink and the.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, they're remembering to buy the ink.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was my problem. I ran out of ink,
Yeah.
and I found all these other cartridges from old
and they don't fit.
Yeah, that don't work.
printers
anymore.
that and I
I
was like
know.
trying to jam it in there, and it wasn't working.
I
You
gave
need the
Kathleen
toner.
my old printer, and I was like, I hope that you can still get ink for this thing. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Then you get the toner, then you get the drum, then the price of the ink goes way up, but you have no choice.
Yes.
Right.
Okay, well, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much for
Take care,
your
nice to
time.
see you.
We have two
Okay, nice to
printers.
see
We
you.
have one.
Is there anything we have to post while they're building it?
At least not yet. I mean, I know that we were talking about having
Oh, a
some,
historic
No.
one, yeah.
but that-
I always put the building permit in the window.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay, that's fine.
Just in case you're not
Someone's
home
being
or
nosy.
somebody comes in.
Yeah. All good. Thanks very much, and that,
All
yeah.
right.
It'll
Oh,
only
wait,
be,
no.
it'll only take them a day to do it though, so it'll just be.
What, really, Campanella is that fast? Okay. All right,
all right.
thanks
Take
very much
care.
for your time.
I like going around a pool of this.
All right, so we have no business to take care of, right?
We have no business to take care of.
No, we're not doing minutes because we don't have quorum for minutes,
Well,
so.
then, do I have here a magic motion?
I move to adjourn the meeting.
Sean, do you second that?
I will second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Done,
All right,
done, done,
9:20,
done.
not bad.